Oi people, it's me again, and I'm trying not to goof around. So if you follow my channel, you probably found a few videos that I made about game collecting and stuff like that. I even made a collection video about, which is like a stop motion animation sort of deal, but it was just really goofing around. But I never really think that I've really got into detail about if we want to how to say this, to compress this kind of video in this way. So I would just like to talk about mostly the Famicom stuff I have been collecting for about the past let's see, 7-8 years now. So honestly, the very first legit game what I started with this collection fiasco bullshit was this right here. So I've been collecting from eBay since 2013. That's when I first made my bank account and shit like that, credit card, and I was figured, I mean, okay, we have VRC6 game, and at the time this Mother game was just dirt cheap. I mean, yeah, if focus, don't we get focus? Well, as you can see briefly, it's not in a really great condition, but it's not too terrible either. I mean, I think if I wanted to iron it, maybe restore some of its parts. But the thing is, I mean, what I love about Famicom collecting, more about than NES, is that you get all these gadgets and shit. Like, here's the map for the game, since Mother is an RPG game. You have a big ass colorful manual, and I just love that kind of shit, even though I kind of understand Japanese to a certain level, which is like 0/1. I mean, I can read, but I'm not really understand. I can form some sentences, some of it, but I'm not linguistic or any kind of that. And I just love these big cards. I mean, I know why they are big. And actually, speaking of which, this is actually not in a complete in-box condition, because if I remember correctly, I first bought the cartridge, just the cartridge only, which has the sticker on top, and then I bought it again to be complete in box. Then I sold the other one, and I was an idiot that I didn't change the sticker of it, or maybe the cartridge, because if I believe this cartridge was never really used. I mean, you can delete your progress and shit like that, but it was in a decent condition, and I think this is where the stickers actually originate from, and obviously somebody used it on a cartridge. There is actually some trivia shit and oncoming game. I mean, this is what I love about this, that you have these little catalogs, of to say, or least, like here's an ad for Moai-kun, like Metal Gear Solid Snake for the MSX2 for 7,800 yen. So yeah. Oh, and if the NES games has styrofoam, then Famicom games has these registration cards or postcards or whatever, where you can pretty much give feedback to the developers or publishers of what games you like, games you would like to what are your favorite genres. So it was kind of like a survey program back in the day. So and you don't really see that much in games nowadays, and that's what I actually don't like about it. Maybe there are some exceptions, but I mean, the sheer idea in today's generation of gaming to be everything just digital and DSC, and we don't give about, okay, I kind of understand to don't waste money on materials like this. I mean, cardboard, cartridge ROM, or but it just kind of ruins the thing for me in some ways. Sadly, I need to handsome. You probably saw my beautiful face. Okay, this is bullshit. I know my video skills are still not really too good. There's actually going to be some oddballs in the group as well. And the second game I think I bought when it comes to legit Famicom games is this one. I believe this was the one and only time I have ever bought from Amazon. Yes, it was dirt cheap back in the day, in 2013. It was like 10,000 forints. I mean, oh shit, this tip just broke off. So yeah, these are not really in a good condition. I mean, I have no idea what the hell happened with this. I think this got damaged while I was moving from, in 2004 or something. It's just really a shit thing, because if you remember correctly, I once did this manual scan shit video and it was there with normal quality, so I don't know. I sincerely don't know. But that's just it. And of course we have the cartridge itself. Again, no top label of Lagrange point. So yeah, I should sell this thing as fast as I can. But then again, I have two copies, because this is just one with the normal ROM in it, and the other one is of course the translated ROM, so which has my own hacked routines inside it with Starry Sky, if you remember that. So really, this is just more of an in-depth look about my game collection. By small game collection, I mean in some degrees I am a collector and sort of preservator too, but I am the one with not too much money on its hands, even in his hands. Hear about some more rare crap. I mean, and this fucking game is just become a kind of meme in my close friend groups. Okay, as a game, I mean, okay, so these two games are just your generic JRPGs with enhanced crap. And let me completely fucking honest be with you guys. If these two games and this one as well and a few more others didn't have that fucking expansion chip, I would bet money on that. I would don't fucking care two fucks about them, because as a game, just a game from gamer standpoint, it's nothing too groundbreaking or special. The music is alright, but as a game, this game is not fucking hard. I mean, I know RPG aficionado or whatever you want to call it, but this game is just balls to the wall hard. I mean, if you don't grind at the very beginning of the game and you don't grind pretty much everywhere, you're gonna be kicked in your ass. I'm not joking about here. Graphically, it's fucking crap, trash. I don't really know what's the sort of what should I expect from, what is this, 1991, but graphically these two Konami RPG games, I really have to disagree. Some of the monsters and the boss designs are great, but the in-game sprites and thing, I mean, how to say this? Konami was never really good at drawing sprites in this sort of sense. I mean, the animation was fluid, but the fact that, like in Contra, the guys have no eyes, I know, limitation, but just looking at it and thinking about it, that they have no eyes, is just weird to some degree. But if you love these games, I mean, I don't hate them. I can play with them if I really wanted it. But as a game, I can't really recommend these ones just as a game. And this one is just out of question as a game. It's a fucking visual novel. It is like the poor and shitty excuse to make a video game for the fans of the video games in general. I mean, graphically, this is fucking like Crysis on NES. This is fucking like Crysis on NES. I mean, yes, it is powerful, and this game is fucking expensive now. It has less than 10,000 copies in the wild. It was sold that shit. I miss the poster for it. I miss a lot of the insiders. I mean, okay, we have the laboratory registration card or postcard or whatever. I think this is just a generic postcard. We have this. Actually, never really thought about the idea of what's the point of this. I mean, I brought some passwords here, but that's all. I mean, fuck, what? This is your generic thing that the reminder to always plug out from the AC adapter from the outlet when you finished playing. Thanks. I mean, are people in Japan that idiot that they would blow out their power sockets or what? We have the manual, which is actually kind of like a manga combined with some very basic descriptions of the game and how to show to. I mean, I did the manual scan. You can watch it. I made it in 2013, I believe, so it's preserved. Maybe not in the highest fucking image quality, but I did what the best I could do. Okay. So, I really have no idea if I ever going to buy a better version of this, because as I said, this game is very rare and expensive. I mean, what the fuck? I didn't do that. I swear I didn't do that with it. It was like that. I mean, it just shit. So, Metal Slayer Glory as a game, no way I can recommend. But here is one that I actually can recommend, and it has no expansion audio chips and that shit. It's the block for the Famicom. The block. It was made by Athena. It was a sort of obscure game developer in the 80s, 90s. I mean, they didn't really make too much stuff for the Famicom, and I believe they made just like a few shooters for the Super Nintendo as well, like it was the Super Strike Gunner. I mean, they made some decent games and a couple of mediocre games. I mean, Castle of Dragon or Dragon Unit is just balls to the wall hard for all the wrong reasons. But this game is different. This game is kind of like a Tetris in space. Yes, it has this little bubble wrap thing. It has the manual and that thing as well. The Athena logo. It's kind of like an inverted Tetris game sort of deal. It's pretty unique as a game. The manual is kind of colorful and shit. Oh crap. So yeah. It has some description. It has no credits and shit like that, so we still really have no idea who made the music, but it just believed that, or I believe that it was made by the same dudes who made music for their other games. I mean, it's just like this little space graphic there. It's kind of like an invisible planet or something, but maybe just my blurring shit is playing with my eyes with the camera. But this game is not that bad, and it has another historically valuable information that pirates in mainland Taiwan and China stole this game's sound driver, and they used it in their own Hummer games, and honestly saying, they choose pretty much one of the most underappreciated sound drivers of the NES. Seriously, I have a video about of a soundtrack that I made again a few years ago. It's really has this vibrato vibes. It has a little really sharp drums. How to say it? It's really good. The in-game tracks are kind of lame, to be honest, and the title screen is okay, the game over, and some of the other unused tracks. So yeah, I can honestly recommend this game to anybody, whatever form. I bought it in completed box because this game is actually dirt cheap, and I'm pretty fucking certain that it's not going to drive up the price that I'm actually talking about this game in some sort of detail, because honestly, this game doesn't have any kind of feedback on the internet from not major game reviewers or anybody. So really, I can honestly, this game has two modes. It's kind of like in NES's Tetris, an endless game, and another game where you have to clear, I think, 25 lines, and then you go to the next level, and then you get a horoscope cutscene or something like that. So yeah, this game is not that bad, and I actually had to hurry up a little bit because I have like 12 more minutes. So yeah, I don't really have too much time. So here's another game that, as a game, it sucks, and it just only has that Namco chip shit, and that's it. So here's the old case and copy what I bought, so that it has no manual. It has the game itself, so this is actually one for sale. I'm trying to sell it to anybody. And the other one is actually has the sticker on top of the cartridge. It has the manual, the Namco information section, previews, the stickers, and of course the postcard or registration card. Yeah, I'm not really bothering to take this apart because I kind of like the idea of boxes. I mean, I think Namco was one of the very few, maybe besides the Sunsoft, that used legit boxes, like Sega-like boxes, that plastic boxes and not cardboard boxes like most games used it. So it's just hard to lose it. I mean, if you desperately want to lose it, but the thing is that no matter what kind of game you are buying or what genre you love, there's one thing that is specific, that collecting for the Famicom is actually a lot more cheaper and better, to be honest, and you don't really have to waste so much space if you are collecting games. So, and here is its brother. This is again another JRPG game, and I believe the copy of mine is a little bit on a dying state because the battery is like doesn't really want to work. It has again an Namco information section booth. Okay, shoot. Oh my god, this camera is really getting over hot. Okay, so here's a little detail. So again, the registration card, a Namco information section, which is, let's see, they advertised here Splatterhouse, Vampaku Graffiti, Mappy Kids, Famista 90, and this game. Okay. It's just weird to see. Maybe this was just a random. Oh shit. There's even more. Devilman, Dragon Buster 2, Dragon Ninja, Keruna Guru. What? Keruna Guru? I don't really know that one. Desuru Sheiruzu Questo. No, Quinty, Mindseeker, Dragon Spirit, Aratana Naro Densetsu, Family Stadium 89. So yeah. This is kind of like the cheap version of Nintendo Power and Famitsu magazine back in the day that companies had advertised. And of course, the one and holy sticker things. And honestly, I think you can place the stickers wherever you want. I mean, I guess that you have to put the sticker there. I mean, here's the cartridge itself, and somebody burned that fucking thing. I mean, it just disgusting. I mean, so yeah, this is why I love these. I mean, stickers, but again, it has the Namco 100 and 163 chip, or whatever the hell is it called. Namco Mapper chip. It's easier to say that. Before and super enthusiast will attack me because I can't really remember anything. But even though I actually made a cover about a TurboGrafx PC Engine game. Seriously, what the fuck of name to the PC Engine in US as TurboGrafx? Makes zero fucking sense. Honestly. Whose fucking idea was that? Okay, so this is the Megami Tensei 2 for the Famicom. I can't recommend this game. It's even considerably one of the hardest RPGs by actually RPG enthusiastic on the Famicom. It's maybe even harder than Madara, but I never really. Looks like I have to edit crap out of my video. So, but I was about to say that. And I'm actually now changing devices from here to here. So I'm probably going to edit out my little face out of my video. I mean, I posted pictures about myself, but that's not the point and case here. So I was actually about to say that I absolutely cannot recommend Megami Tensei 2 as a game. It's punishingly difficult, and I never actually really cared about to really go into the details or how to beat this fucking thing. I mean, it just balls to the wall hard. I can't really say anything about that. And here's another one, Murder Club for the NES. And no, there's actually be two cases of these kind of games. This game was only released in Japan, for one, and two, it was developed by River Hill Soft. If you know something about video game developers or these or these obscure companies, River Hill Soft was only known for making text adventures and stuff like that. And this game is no exception. And this is their only ever Famicom developed game. The box is actually really, really bad when it comes to opening this thing up. I mean, it's horrible. So you have the cartridge itself. The cartridge looks great. I mean, you don't really see black cartridges that much. And you actually have a full map. So you actually have memos, actually, for your progress. You have the manual, obviously, tells about how the game is, what's the story, how to control. So it's very, very basic. And what's even interesting, I'm not really sure about how much detective games. Maybe Data East actually had a few more, and Toze, of all people, had some detective games like Nishimura Kyotaku or something. You have the manual, and you can actually write to the mugshots of who they are, how old they are, what their blood types are, and pretty much memo. And you can so this is like the how you do it manually. Uh, so you can make notes about what people are telling about their testimonies and alibis, because you have to find the murderer. And I believe I beat this game without any kind of help or walkthroughs back in the day in 2013, and it was like shit. I mean, I have no fucking idea how I managed it, but I somehow managed it. So yeah, I can't really say about that. Again, this is actually technically a visual novel game, so is it good for recommend playing? No. Does this game have a translation? No. So it's just really yet another one of those cases when it's just good for showing up. And here's the next one, and here's the most weirdest one I think I believe in my collection, which is yet again a text adventure game, and it features none other than a boy band from the 80s. Yes, a legit boy band from the 80s in Japan. With this game, TM Network Live in the Power Blow. And as you can see, it looks nothing like any of the commercially released boxes or thing. This is literally a tin can or something. It's a tin box, and if you open it up, yes, there is actually the game complete in books like any other Famicom game. I mean, just look at size wise. I really don't get the idea of what was the point of doing this. I mean, it's nice, it's unique, but it's just a place. It's just a thing, Chan. I mean, what the fuck? Again, and this I have no idea if this actually values up in rarity. I mean, yeah, it sure does, but again, this is just a shitty text adventure game, and you might ask, why the hell I am even collecting these games? And to perfectly be honest, I have no idea. Dogs are barking like usual. So, what is this game, might you ask? I made a walkthrough about it years ago. This game is yet another text adventure game featuring the TM Network staff. Yes, they are a legit band. All of them are alive and well. They are in their 60s now. I listened some of their tracks because of this game. I mean, the very first track what you actually hear in the game is actually their 8-bit rendition of what is that? Yeah, come on. Don't stop dancing. Dun, 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 dun. Checking everybody. I don't really know what's the title, but it's not really a horrible song. I mean, I'm not into J-pop and all of these cultures, but yeah, it's interesting. And what's more interesting about is this cartridge. I mean, check this out. The front is black and the end is white. I mean, what the fuck? I never seen any kind of cartridge that looks like this or operates like this. And it says something, enforced the first martial law of June 29, 1989. Occulism. I mean, what's the point of even bothering to put their English text when the boy band is is blocking the whole text. So, what I actually know about the game, the Colosseum is this satellite dish here. Little spoiler alert. And you have to stop this satellite dish to wipe out the entire human race by convincing the boy band to make a word peace concert or something like that. The concept is bizarre, but somehow it works. I have really no idea what was the thought process of behind this game. Yes, I think this is the... Oh, what is this? I think this is from the importer. Oh, this... What is this? Oh, this is something that I bought almost 3 years ago, and I didn't throw it out. What the fuck? In the grocery store? So we have a manual here. It has some brief descriptions, how the password system works. The game is actually cool because you can actually die. And this dude is actually very important historically wise because he is the founder of Epic Sony Records, the label company. Some sort of Maruyama. Not sure about the other people if they are fictional or living. I mean, if I remember, this guy was the inventor of that satellite dish. I really can't remember. I mean, I never played it on too much of console. I mean, the worst thing about this game actually is that it actually cycles between a very related the game from a text adventure to a sort of Metal Gear game where you have to sneak in a ventilation shaft or something, and so you can be caught or else you are dead. You also have to be very specific sometimes about the game in the visual novel part, because if you say some bad words, then you are gonna be put into jail, and the and the human race is going to be destroyed. So yeah. It's really a very interesting game, and what's even more interesting that this game uses Atlas's sound driver. I mean, Atlas is a company that made these games. I mean, these two. There's actually one more, which has some, not really a problem, but wasted potential, to be honest. So yeah, TM Network. Can I recommend it? Absolutely fucking not. So yeah, basically this pile of shit, actually, I can barely fucking recommend any game pretty much out of this. I mean, let's recap, shall we? I mean, we have a JRPG, another JRPG, a fucking visual novel, a fucking visual novel, a fucking visual novel, a fucking JRPG, and a fucking text-based menu adventure game. I mean, this is what fucking pissed to my ball. I mean, we have all the Japanese, you have all these fucking technology and mumbo jumbo, and you waste all these potentials on fucking games like these. I mean, since JRPGs was a kind of a big thing back in 1990 in Japan and stuff, I mean, I can fucking understand that, but I mean, really, what fucking great idea to waste potentially great software and shit on games like these. And you know what? That brings up to our next game, which is the wasted potential to the Atlas series. So this game right here is Kamen no Onagashi Urashima Densetsu. And I talked a lot about of this game. A lot. Even 5 years ago. And you know what's the fun part? This is actually a really good game. It's a side-scroller action platformer. it doesn't work on PAL hardware that much. I made a dedicated video about for this, but the fact that this game came out in 1988 at the same year as this fucking game hit the shelves, and this game was never utilized in MCO 163 mapper. I mean, come on, what the fuck, man? I mean, the only idea I can come up with why this is not, because it's an Namco mapper, and check out, it's fucking Hudson Soft. I mean, I adore Hudson Soft as well, but come on, why couldn't have been some sort of agreement, or Atlas said, fuck it, we're going back to Namco because we can actually make decent games, or maybe Hudson didn't give them let's see, restrictions of what type of games we want to be sold. So they said we want platformers, because one thing for sure, Hudson Soft published games, whether they were developed by their in-house studio or not, are very playable games. I mean, they made so many series. I mean, Star Soldier, Bomberman, Adventure Island, which is one of my favorite. I mean, some of their games were not developed by their in-house studio, but the fact is, Hudson Soft games are generally great, regardless of what platform we are talking about. Even though they made a visual novel with some Princess Tomato or shit like that, but the thing is, you don't really see, at least, okay, if we stick to Famicom wise, too much RPGs. I mean, okay, they were guilty as well in 1992 and 3 with those Momotaru Densetsu shit, but the majority of their games are actually action games. And I think we all already saw this, and one thing again that sucks about this game is that it's just rare in a sort of sense. And what is interesting is that I know it is very hard to distinguish, but so this is my hand, and this is the manual. I mean, are Japanese people are this fucking little, or what? I mean, what was the point of making the manual? I mean, this fucking little. I mean, it's very hard to actually distinguish, but when I actually saw it in real in my hands, and I noticed that how fucking small this manual are, I mean, like, shit. In fact, all of these manuals are actually really that small, so it's not that this is actually bigger or smaller, but it is the weird thing that it's like an optical illusion when you are buying games. I mean, when I first started watching the AVGM and Irate Gamer, or any of these well-known people in the NES collecting community, I was always thought that these gray cartridges are like these super big cartridges with always. And when I actually had the opportunity to play an NES game in a console, I was like, is this? I mean, it looked fucking big in the videos, but in reality, it's like a totally different experience. I mean, it's not really a bad thing. I mean, it just these little quirky moments. As I said, I'm trying to talk about a little bit stories about the games, how I actually got them, and what my experience with this whole collecting shit. Which was all my experience. And here's actually the thing that actually sucks about this game. I mean, it's affordable. I mean, but it's extremely rare to see it on auctions in a complete in-box shape. I know it is really fucking weird. I mean, the game isn't really known for its rarity per se, but I just wanted to point out this thing because it's interesting. That you don't really see it very often, even if you type it like ZX FC or something. But anyway, let's move on, because this is going to be, I mean, the longest fucking most detailed Famicom collection video ever in the history. Here's an oddball. Aladdin on the family computer. No, you are joking. I'm probably joking. And what is this? This is the Super Famicom's box cover, and I mean, what are you trying to do? Well, I mean trying to do. This is a custom-made repro box for a pirated Aladdin. And this Aladdin is actually a cartridge that I have since 1997. So this is a pirate product. So it was very fucking cheap, and I was like, what the fuck not? I mean, everybody fucking loves this game because it's just so fucking good. I can't stress this enough. This game is good. And I would even go as far that it's fucking better than the original Super Famicom version. Yes, I'm going that far. And this was made by fucking Chinese people who were tortured by rice and I don't know, squids or something like that. Okay, maybe not, but the fact, this is a fucking pirate game that it's actually worth your time. It's playable, it's great, it's cool. It has some flaws like B's for jump and A's for apples because they mapped the controls directly from the Super Famicom version, but this is one of these extremely rare moments when pirators are actually don't being assholes, and they actually can make a decent fucking game with decent controls, gameplay, and almost like they ported the game like 95%. I mean, the Snake final boss and I think some of the stages or sub-stages are missing from this backport, but you know what? Fuck those stages. This game is really great. As for collectibility-wise, it's very difficult to come by. I mean, if you are just an eBay guy like I am, I mean, if you go to AliExpress, I think you can find it there, or somebody will custom make it for you. But be sure that you are you make the GY mapper one, because what's interesting behind the cartridge that I had is that it has a sticker and it says GY025, but that's bullshit. The music still cuts out, and it's just an MMC3 backport, and even once I somehow encountered a sub-menu with 3 other games, it was like once in a lifetime opportunity to see that. I mean, I have no idea it was a fucking poltergeist or something, but it's just really weird. There is like a hidden menu in the fucking cartridge. So this 3 little pack games are the games that I can recommend for playing wise. And here's another one, but this fucking game is just, whoo, it's fucking difficult. So this is Yosei Monogatari Rodland by Jellico. But I think it was made by some obscure European development team called Storm Sales Curve. And why the Japanese version? Because even though this is released in Europe, because the European version is like, fuck it. It's like, I don't know, $400 US. And it's not a fucking game of the century. So basically, Rodland is a port of, I think it was first appeared in the Amiga or the Atari ST, Atari 8-bit family. So it's basically like a Bubble clone, which is actually a Bubble clone, but instead you are controlling fairies instead of dragons. What is interesting about that, there is actually some explanation on the back of the cartridge and the telephone numbers and shit. And actually the cartridge is actually is pretty fucking big, even though, because it uses this custom Jellico mapper, but then again it was ported to MMC3 in Europe, so whatever. But what's also really great about this is you can see that there is a protective plastic case in this cap, so it can protect the chip from dust. And honestly, I have no idea why most of these games were packaged like this. Even these ones, I mean, it is a nice touch. I mean, it's not really necessary because if you don't throw out the box like an idiot, they won't really get dirty. But this is just a really nice touch. We have manual here, little cute little fairies, shit like that. I'm not into anime, crap like that. But then again, it's kind of weird that the only NTS release of a European-made game was only in Japan and Europe. Weird. The whole game is actually really weird and pretty fucking challenging, to say at least. I once made a playthrough, but I think I cheated there or something. But that was long ago. So I can definitely recommend this game. It's a little bit pricey, but if you just go for cartridge only, I think you can buy it like maybe $40 at best. And I think $40 nowadays is really fucking expected for a rare game like this. It's bullshit, but what can you do about it? So this game is probably going to be more about him plus price because I talk about it, but honestly, then what should I do? Shut the fuck up and not let people know about that there are really good games about it. So it's kind of like a trap where you cannot go out from good. So you are going to be bashed because I'm talking about, and you are going to bash because I'm not talking about. So you know what? Fuck it. But I can really recommend this game for playing, or fire it up in an emulator if you're a poor ass guy like I used to be. So yeah, emulation is for the win, and here is another big fucking game. It Just Breed. I mean, what the fuck kind of name is Just Breed for a Famicom game? And guess what? It's a JRPG from NX. And yep, I have this cartridge, which is again looks very strange. It's kind of like built out of two parts. I mean, it's fucking yellow at the back, but at the front it's really white. It's not some sort of what is this? It's not some kind of bootleg. Even though the back of the cartridge has a completely different label and snow white for some reason, because the story goes that I had a copy back in 2012. I sold that because I missed the manual. Then I was about to get a dual cartridge. A dual cartridge is kind of like a deal. I am a trackman, actually knows more about this, that how to say this. So if you can install a little plug here and at the side of the cartridge, and if you are good at soldering and know what to probably do, so the thing is that you can switch between a translated PROM chip and between the original chip at will. So it's pretty much the only way of getting ever a DLC for your Famicom games. I mean, the idea is great because you technically don't really destroy anything with it. So I actually wanted to have that, but I never got it. So I said, oh, okay, fuck it. Then I'm gonna buy the cartridge separately from Bai. Yeah, technically from the Rakuten, which is some sort of Japanese auction site. I don't really know. So Bai is like a proxy server where you can buy directly from Japanese web stores and crap like that, which is a really neat thing because a lot of games actually, even if you pay for the buy services, are actually a lot more cheaper sometimes if you just go for eBay and buy crap like shit like that from. But you have to pay separately for the shipping. You have to pay 2 times for the buy services. So you have to take into account that is when you are about to buy a game. So I think this was costed me about $25-$30 total with the whole service thing. As for the game itself, well, if Fire Emblem is actually, you don't know anything about Fire Emblem, it's kind of like that. It's a strategy RPG. It has a really great soundtrack. But again, RPG games. I mean, really anybody want to fuck about RPG games? So I think because of some of the next aspects, I can recommend this maybe a little more than the Konami ones. But ultimately, it's just one of those types of game that looks good in a collection. I'm afraid I have to say that. And that was actually the last game that I actually own in my collection that has an expansion audio shit. I mean, I don't have an FDS, I don't have a gimmick cartridge because they're fucking expensive. But if you want, actually, you can donate me and support my channel. You know, there is that option too. Or maybe I can invest into some prototypes and shit like that. So, you know, preservation. But here's a very oddball game that I actually happen to have. D-Golf 92. Remember when I told you about the Murder Club for the Famicom? It's one of those very rare occasions when one game developer comes out from the hell and leashes out a game, and this game is the prime example of that. It was supposedly made by this Go One company. If you go online, you won't going to find any kind of information about this. Who is this company? What is this game? And supposedly, this was their only and last video game they ever bothered to make. A fucking golf game in 92 for the NES. I mean, the sheer thing that this exists is just baffling on so fucking many levels. I mean, I played this a few times and I guess it's decent, but seriously, do really people need it in 1992 a fucking golf video game for crying out loud? So, what do we have here? Of course, this stupid information and the manual with Adolf Hitler playing golf in the woods, some player information. The manual is really good, but the manual doesn't have any credits. The game doesn't think it has any kind of credits, so... And since they have no other game ever developed or published, it's pretty much fucking impossible to know anything about the whereabouts of about the developers or who made it. Is this formed out of some sort of others? I mean, we have game code. I have analyzed the game code, and I just can't really find anything sound-wise actually that is similar to other companies' games or anything like that. So it's kind of like Hong Kong 97, but way better. And I can call this as a game because it's more like a game than anything else. I mean, even if it's just a shitty golf game, the bigger thing is actually that it does not work with the the Famicom expansion ports pin out because I guess they were idiots and had no development kit. So yeah, that's for it. Okay, the last 3 games and 1 oddball. Wits. I talked about this game already. This is one of the very few games that supports 4 players, and this looks like just some kind of pedophile Dr. Wiley and some naked dude. And this game is just fucking impossible. I mean, this was made by Athena, who made the blog game. I mean, it's great, but I don't really know what to say about it. It has no continues. It has a brief story. It was Japan only. What a shocker. And yeah, really, I have no really words for this game. It just there. I mean, it has it. What's really interesting is that the cartridge is pink. Don't really see pink cartridges that often. Registration card. What's this? Another card with family computer. I guess this is just saying that this software is assured by Nintendo company sticker. Nothing really to think. And manual. And this manual printing looks like complete shit. And I looked at countless amounts of manuals for it, and it looks like this. It is one of the things that is unacceptable for me. Here is some really manly fist. This kind of looks like some sort of pedophile Silver Surfer or something. And you were actually this guy. You were some sort. If I remember the stories, that you are some sort of university teacher, and you got kidnapped by somebody, and then they turn you into this fluffball naked guy. Yes, it's concept-wise, it's bizarre as fuck. Yeah, there are some little cutscenes here and there. I'm not really sure what it says, but it's like an arcade game, which is sort of like between a nibbles. You're shitting rocks out of your ass, and you have to trap the other player or players. It's kind of like a party game since it supports up to 4 players, but I really fucking doubt that anybody would really want to play four players at the same time. I mean, it's an action game, so I can't really gripe about it. It's a sort of a decent action game, but if you're just going for the single player campaign, then fucking forget it. I mean, it's just that fucking hard, unless you have a Game Genie for Infinite Lives or something like that. Next game is from my youth in some regards. It's Dynamite Ball. Dynamite Ball is the last of these one game developers only games, and this was made by, I think, Soft Vision International. I really don't remember. I think Soft Vision International. Yes, Soft Vision International. And this is their only Famicom game, because they actually made some games for the Genesis, like some shooter, which is actually not that bad. So yeah, we have actually a game developer company that had other games, and what is interesting about that, there is actually a sound credit inside the manual, which credits to Keiichi Maruyama. What's interesting about music-wise about, and basically program-wise about the game, that this game runs like nuts if you are trying to play it on a original PAL NES console. I don't know why it is, but I heard that this game handles the non-maskable interrupts like complete fucking shit, that it just fucking breaks on it. The music was actually extremely difficult to rip because it's kind of uses like pirate crap material where you have to make the sequence as part of the init or something. I really have no words about it. I mean, as a game, it's just a very basic bowling game where you have to hit pins. You have two game modes, game A and game B. Game B is kind of like a exhibition mode or something. AC adapter crap. We have the manual. Yeah, small as my dick. Okay. Shitty jokes aside, title screen, character Uda, blah blah blah. I'm really fucking talking about Famicom games for an hour. I mean, fuck. Yeah, and here it says, music, Keiichi Moriyama. I really wonder why they only bothered to credit only the musician. I mean, the music in this game is how to put it into words. It's decent, yet makes you makes you go sleep. La 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 la. I mean, this is literally the fucking in-game theme. I mean, come on. I mean, I know it's 1987, but really? This fucking music is just makes me fucking feel asleep. And I don't really understand to this day that why the fuck there's a gorilla on the cover of this game. Yes, that's a fucking gorilla. And the only known instance I knew where you ever encounter a gorilla in game is when you make a high score or something. But other than that, never ever encountered a gorilla. So this must be the only fucking video bowling game ever made that features a fucking gorilla on the cover. And why Dynamite Bowl? Because there's a dynamite on the title screen that goes kaboom, and then let's play the game. Okay, here's the last one for the Famicom shit, and this is actually Mirai Senshi Rios, made by Packing Video in 1989, December 1st. Well, if you're into robots and crap, then here's a game for you. So, what's this game? It's a strategy game. It's a strategy RPG game combined of some sorts. And honestly, the only fucking bad thing I can about to say that one turn usually takes up to 30-40 minutes because the gameplay is just unspeakably slow. Yes, it just fucking slow like a rat's ass. It was never localized outside of Japan. I can kind of understand why. There is a manual. The manual is actually very detailed. It tells a lot about stuff. It tells a lot about the inside screens, I mean, the power-ups, but I really never really gave a two shits about it, so I have my own method of playing this game, and at the end it goes really fucking cheap. I mean, because the thing is, or the point of the game is that there is an evil empire or somebody that invaded your own island, I guess. So you have to take it back from territory to territory, some sort of going Kia base, and it works like that. You have your units, your commander, and then a supplement base. No, what you have to do actually is that you have to destroy the enemy's supplement base and the commander itself, and then you won the turn. Now, sounds easy and thing, but the thing is that sometimes when you desperately want to destroy the enemy's supplement base, you most likely, if you are using 3 of your units, they most likely one of them is going to miss, and if they hit it, they are going to damage like a very not too much effort. I mean, a very low value of HP, and it's just a fucking chore because the supplement base is actually the only way to refill your health and to refill your shots, because you have a limited amount of shots. I mean, what you can do. So it's like, I mean, there is a turn. You have a unit which has a gun pointer 3, so it means for the next 3 rounds he can attack. But if that shot counter runs out, you have to use the supplement based on him, because he's not going to be able to damage your enemies. And as the game progresses, the enemy has more and more and more and more enemies, and you never gather any single fucking new unit, and that's just fucking bullshit, if you ask me. And that makes the last part of the game is just unspeakably difficult. So there you have it, my complete in-box Famicom stuff. Yeah, not really to gripe about it or think it's not really a big collection, but here's an oddball to the group, that it's not really a Famicom game, but more like an NES game. This is Terminator on the NES by Mindscape and Radical Entertainment, and you might ask, what the fuck is so interesting about? Well, it's just a cartridge only. See that fucking bee over there? And see this here? Focus. NES NANOE, which means that this is a PAL version. What's interesting about this cartridge that you won't find data on it online. This cartridge is undumped. I'm fucking serious. This fucking cartridge is undumped. Yes. Not even in a good NES set, you won't find anything for it. So, yeah, I have a rarity like this in my collection that you won't find it on the internet at all. It plays like shit. The only different thing I actually saw about this game, comparing it to the US version, is that the demo scene is a bit longer here. So anyways, I think around August I can actually dump this thing, so I sincerely don't think that this is a very big loss to the internet, but it's just weird that this game is somehow surpassed the internet community archival shit that, whoopsie, we forgot to dump this version. I mean, there's still some games that actually have no idea if that was actually released or not. So who knows what kind of different revisions of games will ever apply. So this is what I actually wanted to make. I really hope you enjoyed, guys, as I enjoyed making this video. I mean, I don't really make too many videos about my collection, so there you have it. Stay clean, folks, and see you next time.